The autumn air is crisp and it's cool. For the first time in many months, one can see the breath of those that walk the streets after the sun goes down. The sound of sniffles come from those that you might pass as the cold air and the change in temperature causes people to get their autumn colds, which are not too uncommon. People walk about in their light windbreakers and their hooded sweatshirts, their pullover fleeces. Shorts have been traded in for slacks and yoga pants. Casual sneakers traded in for Uggs or other various sort of trendy boots. Some just opt for the wool sock, whatever they can to keep themselves warm, as this far north it has certainly gotten quite cool. We find ourselves within the more rough parts of Zuster, away from the middle and high class, away from the gated communities, away from the 9 to 5ers that have their economical Priuses and a mortgage they can never hope to pay off. We find ourselves in a place where the police dare not venture alone, not enforced anyway, knowing that they are unwelcome in these parts. They tend to only come when needed. We start our scene in the middle of an area of mixed ethnicities where, crowded around a large ball court with the fluorescent lights beaming in over the once innocent basketball court, has now become a ring of sorts. It's hard to tell how many people, well over 75, maybe close to 150. It's hard to say. But they shout and holler. They hold up vast quantities of bills as they watch individuals use their bare knuckles, their feet, their arms, whatever they can to inflict damage on the other until the other yields or simply ceases to move. Various bits of blood are seen across the court, little bits of teeth, perhaps. It's hard to tell unless you get up close. An individual by the name of Evaline stands just on the outer fringe, a small cut underneath one of her eyes already, her knuckles bloodied as she stands there in little more than a tank top and a pair of sweatpants, her hands slightly taped, one wrapped in boxing wraps. She watches as two gentlemen use their elbows against one another, smashing each other into the ground, tackles and leg sweeps. It's not quite as refined as she is used to enjoying, but when so far from home, this will do. Evaline leans against the chain-link fencing, not aware that someone she knows will soon be in her midst.
As the cheering of the crowd and the screaming just ebbs away a little, you can hear like maybe 5, maybe 6 motorcycles approaching, engines roaring as they stop. And they stop near the baseball field or the pit or whatever you want to call it at this point, as Kaylee and a few of her, well, human friends she still knows belong to a biker gang named the Vandals, that are supported actually by one Jacob Burns. And they had invited her over a long time ago, and despite the fact that this was Katie's night at the fort, or actually more day at the fort, as she told her now sire, she still wanted to just go out with them again. She felt confident enough about her new condition that she could at least stay around for a while without trying to lick her lips or eating them or something like that. She took a little effort though, and especially with the scent of blood now rich in the air, she can't help but lick her lips. Um, she gets off Frankie, her trusted iron steed, and together with a few others, they walk forwards, just for now looking at the crowd and the men that she's with. They are all men actually, and a lot taller than she is, and they start pushing people aside just to get a little bit more into the front as they just watch the fight that's now going on and the roaring of the crowd. Katie really has to swallow a few times as she has the feeling she can almost taste that blood that she sees now. But she just keeps with watching from now on.
It isn't long before a hand comes to the underside of her left arm, sort of snagging her away from the rest of the group, as Evaline had spotted the rather flamboyant in appearance young woman, someone that she recognizes, but she just grips Kaylee's very cool skin, which does cause her brow to raise a bit as she pulls the ghoul, or what she thinks is a ghoul, back towards the chain link fence and smirks as she attempts to whip Kaylee around to face her.
Kaylee, she ducks away and her eyes just widen a little as she recognizes the canites opposite her. And she actually growls for a moment. What the fuck are you doing?
Evaline will simply look at Kaylee and shake her head. Save it. It's getting your attention.
Hmm. Well, you could just come up and say hello.
What fun would that be, just to walk up and say hello? We're not exactly in polite circle now, are we?
Well, there's a difference between walking up and saying hello and just literally pulling one away from one's friends. I was enjoying that fight.
Mm, I can already tell. The big one's going down.
Okay,
She puts an
turns to
arm
some.
over. She tries to put an arm over Kaylee's shoulders a bit, not in a overly friendly manner, but almost in a directing manner, as she guides Kaylee a little bit towards where they can get a better view from the back. And Evaline will point. You see the way he keeps taking water every time that they break?
Mm,
The small one, he's smarter. He's faster. And while he may not hit as hard, I've already seen him hit several points on that man's body. He knows what he's doing. That big gut of his is going to become like a big water balloon. When you fill it with water, impacts make so much more of a difference.
okay, he just raises an eyebrow as she knows a little about medicine, but not enough to know exactly the full everything to the full extent as Eveline is pointing it out. And she kind of mumbles it. It's always the short ones that you have to watch out for, didn't they tell you?
Evaline will smirk. They always are the wiry ones, aren't they? And within the next few moments, the smaller man begins to sweep under the large arms of the rather big gentleman, and soon 5 or 6 quick punches, jabs, followed by a haymaker, impact the man's large gut, and almost immediately he doubles over as a mixture of bile, water, and food come up from his mouth and just spill all over the court. And Evaline smirks as he goes down to his knees and immediately holds his arm up as if to signal that he is indeed done.
Katie just you can feel her kind of. She moves a little as she actually as soon as she sees the bigger man vomit, she remembers the her first night that it spent mainly above the toilets. It's the memory is still very fresh, so kind of gives her uneasy feeling. She doesn't really want to be remembered. Hmm.
Interesting, isn't it?
What is exactly so interesting about a Big Mac in smaller pieces?
Sitting here watching these fights, it's how I honed my craft as a medic when I was still mortal. Every time I would go to the battalion boxing matches, I would sit there and I would watch, and I would just watch strikes and impacts and how they affected the body. In our marksmanship classes, they would tell us where to aim for, and that's where we would shoot. And I began to think, why those particular spots? The head and the heart are obvious targets. But why punch underneath the armpit? Why aim for the groin with a knife? Why punch somebody in the curvature of the rib, the bottom of the rib cage? All of these questions. And I began to do independent study. It drove me on and on and on and on, Kaylee. And before I knew it, I knew more about human anatomy than most of the senior medics, more than even some of the staffed lieutenants.
Well, rather you than me, Kelly says as she studies her nails for a moment and just scratch some dirt from underneath it. Never been much of a never been much of a learner. Always prefer to work with my hands. So much more rewarding. At least you get results right away.
Really?
Really.
Eveline looks as though she's moderately impressed by the woman of small stature. And as the man in the center of the ring, as they throw buckets of water into it and clean away the massive mess left by the larger gentleman, he calls out for another. And immediately Eveline takes her hand and throws it up, pulling Kaylee's with her.
Katie looks at Eveline and she's like, "You want to have a go at this?"
Why not? It'll be entertaining for them. And
You mean the two of us?
and she begins to tug Kaylee as people begin to turn around and look at the two of them.
For fuck's sake. Wasn't really planning to get into a fight.
I wasn't planning on fighting someone of my own kind, but here we are.
Hmm. So you noticed.
Symbolic, symbolic duel for the heart of the Sabbat, my dear. Think of it that way.
Fine, fine. I don't mind. You
Even
just
though I'm wondering if Jacob's trained his ghoul or not.
Who says he needed to go to train me?
We'll see. We'll see.
We will.
Evaline walks out into the center of the court as some people that have seen her there, cheer her on a bit, knowing her for her rather brutal methods. But she definitely makes her way out into the middle of the court and holds one hand up, and then waits for Kaylee to join her.
Kaylee, she sighs for a moment, looks at her friends who are like staring at her, almost as if they're like wanting to stop her. And she just raises her hands and she doesn't say anything at all. Just raises her hands in a kind of calm down gesture and takes off her leather biker jacket, and you'll see that underneath the biker jacket she will wear a bright orange T-shirt with a big yellow sun on it, which with the text on it, "Let the sun shine in." And she will walk forward. Not, of course, there's no cheering because there's no one actually who knows Kaylee, and probably even a few laughs as they kind of look at the girl who probably looks no older than 14 or 15, mainly because she's so short. Katie just walks up to Evaline.
The master of ceremony, so to speak, will instruct Kaylee to remove her jewelry or anything of that nature, and of course her shoes.
She doesn't wear any, but she will kick her combat boots to the side into the direction of her friends, who will grab them and hold them for her.
Evaline will just sort of tighten the drawstrings on her sweatpants and tuck her tank top into it as she raises both hands up, slightly pushing one knee out forward, one knee back, having both hands up without closing her fists, but fingers curled. First punch is free, Kaylee. Let's see what you got.
If you want, Kaylee, she's gonna take a position, and you can clearly see that she has no idea what she's doing, as I don't believe I have a single dot in Brawl. Nope. So she holds up her hands, and yeah, she will just go for a um just a punch to the torso, nothing that special. Let's see. And despite the fact that the punch is really crudely given, as you realize that there is no technique behind this, it kind of hits nice.
Hot diggity damn. Strength plus 3, that's not too shabby.
Yeah.
So glad those aren't like claws or anything like that. That hurt.
Oh wait, I think I actually did it wrong. Sorry.
How you roll your damage now?
Yeah, 2 hit is Dex Brawl, so I only had 3 dice to roll. I'm terribly sorry.
Well, 3
Really
success.
open.
They were all successes anyway. So strength plus 2.
Okay, well, whatever. Okay, strength plus 2 plus potence.
Oh fuck! I forgot about potence.
Oops. Well, don't worry. Only 1 success there.
Roll the stamina. Yeah,
Mm.
not much. Evaline sort of smirks as, even though the punch is thrown surprisingly well and lands pretty square, the force behind it is very little in the face of Evaline, and she just, as the fist impacts her face, Evaline sort of leans forward into it, almost pushing against the fist as it hits her, with a slight smirk. My turn. She smirks, and she's going to point a buff a point of blood into her strength, but not very high. She's not exactly strong. She's just quick, but she figures that's going to be enough for now because clearly this is just a ghoul. I mean, only a ghoul would hit that weakly. One, two, three, four. So 6 dice. Bashing. Not bad. One,
Wow.
two, three. So that's down by 2. So that's 1 point of bashing that you have to soak.
I have to soak. Let's see whether I can soak it or not. Oh, soaks like a boss.
So yes, Eveline smacks Kaylee,
Mm-hmm.
hits her hard, and Eveline is a bit surprised as her hand hits Kaylee square enough, but does next to nothing.
And Katie kind of rolls with one shoulder as to shrug it off. She's like, yeah, so bring it. You're obviously stronger than I am.
Evelyn smirks a bit and licks her lips as she flashes a toothy grin. And it's your turn.
um, yeah, why not? Katie's gonna put a blood point in Dex. So now actually be able to roll with 4 dice. Ooh, wow. Ooh,
Oh, that's a
yeah,
5.
you get to hit for free now as Kaylee steps in to give another punch, but just because of the rain, stupid enough, she slips. And although you can see that she's very easy, she doesn't actually fall because, for fuck's sake, you don't want to know what I'll roll for Dex Athletics on that, because that's good. But she does stands for a moment, kind of like, whoa, that went absolutely wrong. She's kind of stunned that
Alright.
she.
So we'll go, let's say, take the dice that you would have rolled and throw them into Evelyn's dice pool instead
Mhm.
of just a free hit.
Go ahead, you get it. Yeah.
Alright. So that is 12 dice. So let's see how this goes. Gonna blood buff a point into strength again. I take my strength up to 4 because clearly this ghoul can take a beating. And here we go. Goddamn ones.
Look at the ones.
Always the ones. One, two, three, 4 successes. So not bad.
Mhm.
7 dice of damage. And again with the ones. Two bashing. Let's round it down to 1.
Mhm. Yep. She takes it.
Evelyn's a bit surprised at the dear Kaylee taking such a little pounding about this. Has her intrigued. But nonetheless, she went for a quick knee to the rib cage and found that Kaylee absorbed the impact far better than she expected, especially with that bumble.
As Kaylee manages to actually, the punch kind of put her back in her place again. She had to step back, but she that did give her the opportunity to get herself together. Um, Next time I bet she'll get 2 punches for free because for fuck's sake. And she will go about it one more time, buffing her dex again,
Okay.
and she will go for a actually, she will try to kick you, like against kneecaps or something like that.
All right, that's plus 2 difficulty.
I know. Oh wow!
Wow. Evelyn's gonna definitely think something's up if she has to buff into stamina.
So let's see. That does do something. How does the damage work now? Strength plus
Strength plus
2
2.
plus
Yep.
potence, and nothing for the because I took a higher diff, right? It's just because I'm hitting that specific part.
No, because you went for a hit.
Yeah. I'm sorry, it's late, and for some reason,
That's cool.
oh, well, it's still 3 bashing on the kneecaps. Gotta hurt.
So that comes down to half, which is 1.
Mm-hmm.
Rounds down. So Eveline soaks it, but just barely. Like the actual blow actually causes a significant pain in her leg, and she sort of looks at Kaylee with a slight hint of surprise.
Katie will
And
have a smirk on her face and just blow her a quick kiss, like, mwah.
at this point, the crowd seems to be a bit interested that these two are trading blows after they've seen Eveline just pummel people twice her size. It seems to be doubly true for someone who's smaller. Perhaps in that tighter package, all of their abilities amplify. Who knows? But Eveline will buff her dex this time, and gonna spend a willpower point on this. 1, 2, 3, 4, and with the willpower point, that's 5. So that's 8 dice of damage.
Very nice.
1, 2, 3, 4. So at least 2! At least 2 bashing!
Let's see what Katie can soak. Oof, she doesn't soak shit.
Alright, so finally, as Eveline kind of is kicked in one knee, she lifts the leg just a bit late to not completely avoid the attack. But she immediately steps down, kind of slamming her foot down on the other side of Kaylee's lowering leg, and as she does, she lurches forward at the hips and cocking one arm up to her chest level, she brings her elbow around and just smacks it across Kaylee's cheekbones, doing a noticeable bit of damage this time, which causes the crowd to jump into the air and cheer as there's finally been a significant blow impacted. And Kaylee smirks, or not Kaylee, but Eveline smirks with a fairly cold grin. If Kaylee were still mortal, that might be a bit unnerving.
And Kaylee, she will. The smile on her face is gone at this point, and She frowns as she definitely groaned when that impact hit her, and fuck, damn it. I guess I should be working out more. And she spits on the floor and wipes the cheek. There's a bit of blood as the skin just has been busted open. And she doesn't give up. She will continue, this time with a -1 because of the damage. She will no longer do any blood buffing because she was already. Oof, fucking hell. Well, I said it. If I botch again, you will get 2 hits for free. As Kaylee tries to hit you again. This time doesn't slip, but probably because of the blow to her head, she might be
A
dizzy
little
or
hazy.
something. Yeah, so she tries to hit you, but actually ends hitting the air and like standing completely open for your attack. Actually,
So you seriously want me to add double your dice pool?
no, I said you can have 2 attacks for free.
Okay, so
So
I'll
you
get
have 2 attacks in
2.
before Kaylee will be able to respond.
Alright, then that works for me. Alright, Evaline will buff one more time and buff her stamina up. And this time go in for a blood's in the water. She's going for a called shot now. She's going for an eye. That's her thing. Eye gouging. So yeah. I'm gonna spend another willpower point and see where this goes.
Okay.
This is gonna be difficulty 8.
I
And
think you're
one, two,
very happy
three.
with that willpower.
Yeah, the 1. So that's just strength. So that's 4 dice. But as it's an eye gouge, it is lethal.
Mm-hmm.
1, 2, 3, 4. Shit.
Ouch. Um, we can soak lethal, right?
Yes, we can soak lethal. Just at the normal rate.
Ooh, only soak 1. So she takes 2 lethal.
3 lethal.
Ooh, 3 lethal. She's almost out. You really
Oh.
hit her hard, and she's still standing, but you can see that she's like swaying on her feet, and yeah, you still have an extra attack.
Well, Eveline kind of pulls her hand back that's bloodied now and looks at it, having kind of severely poked Kaylee in the eye, probably taken that one eye out,
Mm-hmm.
just completely wrecked it. And she looks at Kaylee as she looks a little wobbly on her feet. And the crowd at this point is just chanting for blood at this point, as Kaylee hasn't tapped out or tried to get back or tried to quit or yield. And so Eveline will give the crowd what they want and go for another called shot, this time on Kaylee's kneecap. Trying to stay away from the head this time. She'll, as Kaylee kind of stands there kind of wobbly, she'll lift her leg up and go for a direct, like, stomping kick to the slightly wobbly kneecap on her left side. Fucking ones!
Ooh, well, you still got a success in there.
And my specialty does count there, so that's 2 successes. So it's just strength plus 1. So that is 5 dice. Ones. It's like you would say, have I told you I hate ones?
Mm. By the way, what is the penalty when you're at -6? It doesn't count
Doesn't matter for
stamina.
soaking.
Okay, nice. I still
And
actually
at
have it.
-6, you're at -5 dice
Mm-hmm.
because you're so hurt.
Well, she soaks it. She keeps standing, but -5 means she can't get an attack in anymore.
She
So
can, uh,
she's. Hmm?
and she can go on the defensive, I think, can't she?
Yeah, she could go on defensive.
If she still wants to continue on, maybe she
Oh,
doesn't want.
she screamed when you got her eye out. She actually for a moment, let's just not do that. But she's definitely screaming. But after the kick to the kneecap, she's just standing there, kind of looking at you through the one good eye, and she's just standing there. She's like, "Fucking finish it, then."
Eveline just smirks and she'll oblige. She'll go for another strike. This time, she's gonna go for Kaylee's throat, thinking she's human still, although she's one tough human and probably earned quite a few points in Eveline's book, and so she'll actually spend her turn doing something else. She's gonna spend a blood point on Auspex 2, or Perception. Let's
Make a
see
roll.
what's going on, because there is a good chance, given how these things go down. Perception, empathy. Perception is 2. Empathy is 2, so 4 dice. And willpower point, because it's difficulty 8. And thank God I did that willpower point.
So you only have one success?
One success, but I think that's enough
That's
to
enough. You can
get
see
a.
that she has a pale aura.
And it is Eveline's turn at this point, but Eveline just kind of lowers her hands slightly and smirks and shakes her head. And just says with a very hushed tone as the crowd is kind of roaring all around them, "Well, at least I can't diablerize a ghoul." And looks like she's getting ready to go for another strike, but she's coming in with her mouth open this time. And may have lowered her fangs.
Oh dear. Kylie, noticing that through her one eye, is preparing to dodge that because she doesn't know that everyone knows, but she knows that she's not gonna get eaten or bitten or anything, as she remembers that feeling she had when she sank her teeth in a K-Knight, and that was pretty nice. She would prefer that not to happen to her. So she'll prepare to dodge, but yeah.
And Eveline then again goes in for the neck. An elbow directly to the neck. Yes!
Oof.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 8.
I don't think I can dodge that because even though I have
Well,
a
just. I mean, you can
very.
roll it. You can take out successes on mine.
I got one success.
So instead of 11 dice, it's 10 dice.
Yay.
1, 2, 3. Only four bashing. So you only have to soak 2. Stay on your feet here.
One tough cookie, but nope, she doesn't.
Okay, so the one. So yeah, Eveline's elbow hits you in the throat. What happens to you?
Well, I'm probably hurt enough that that will knock me straight down.
Into torpor.
Yep.
Eveline
So
sort of smirks as the crowd around them goes wild. And Evaline sort of sits down on Kaylee's chest, kind of straddling her as she smirks and sort of just leans over Kaylee, kind of clasping her rigid head in her hands, and she'll look rather weird to everybody else, but as she places her mouth against Kaylee's, she'll actually vomit her own blood up into Kaylee's mouth so no one can see. It's looking more like a rather provocative moment, but for the two of them, she's basically bringing Kaylee out of torpor right then and there.
So let's say that you'll give her 1 blood point.
She can give her like two. She's got blood to spare.
Nice. Yeah, that will. We'll get Kaylee up again. She she just stares at you. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Saving you from being left out for the sun. So, let me guess, Jacob finally couldn't keep it in his pants anymore?
Hmm. Prefer, if you really want to talk about it, not to do it here. Fucking crowd.
Evan smirks and stands and holds down a hand for Kaylee. Kaylee can hear the crowd just roaring.
And Kaylee will accept the hand. She'll get up. Still.
And Eveline will actually hold Kaylee's hand up in the air and everybody seems to cheer even louder, despite their rather vicious blood sport. They seem to have respect for honor among opponents.
Kaylee will after a few seconds just kind of try to pull her arm loose. She walks up to her friends and kind of rips the shoes and jacket out of their hands, starts pulling them on. They kind of glare angrily at Evaline, but Katie just bitches them off. She's like, "What the fuck? Shut up, you guys! What are you trying to do? I'm gonna take her on, idiots."
Eveline walks out of the circle as they throw water onto the court again to clean the blood, and move on to the next fight. The crowd sort of circles in again, leaving the people exiting the circle room to talk. And Eveline picks up a matching sweatshirt, matching hoodie that goes with her pants, and she places it on over her shoulders and smirks. Let's go for a walk, Kaylee.
Sure, why not?
And she'll actually sort of lift Kaylee's arm. She's permitted to kind of help Kaylee walk a little bit. She's still suffering probably from a -5 dice pool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She Katie can't really spend that much blood without actually getting hungry, and she tried very hard not to in such a crowd, but yeah, she spends the 2 blood that Evaline gave her to heal up some. Let's see. That will mean she would still have. Spend another 2, and she'll be at.
Quick question: Kaylee's taking Volturi, right?
Nope.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yep.
Eesh.
Yep.
Storytellers, not my fault. Just want to put that out there.
Right, now I'm blood bonded to 2 people. Yay!
Oh man, it never ends. I'm always getting people in trouble. Okay, so Evelyn will lead Kaylee to a park bench and set her down. Graciously, actually. Evelyn, as she crouches and sort of runs a finger over each of the sort of breaks in skin where Evelyn had, smacked her, or punched her, elbowed her, or gouged her. She's actually cleaning the new fledgling up slightly. And I'm sure looking a bit more appealing than she did before.
What have you done? What
No,
are you?
I'm saying more appealing as in blood bonded to her and she's being somewhat
Mm.
respectful to you.
Yeah. uh, nope.
But all the same, she just looks up at Kaylee. So again, I'm going to ask you, was this a moment of passion between you and your sire, I'm guessing?
Passion? Fuck no.
No. You mean to tell me that Jacob never tried to sample you before, devoiding you of any real, how can I put it, any real virility?
No.
Hmm.
If he would try to, I would have burned him to the ground.
It's amazing about the discipline of dominate that I find really sort of removes your choice in the matter, but I'm guessing if you say he hasn't, then it is likely true that he hasn't.
He hasn't. I don't know if I would have really cared if he did. Really care, but no. He just grabbed me when we were at a bar. Said it had to be done.
I hope he went kicking and screaming the whole way.
Of course I went. Think I wanted this?
Not everyone's love enjoys being what we are. At least they didn't look forward to it.
Well, I fucking won't deny that it doesn't have a good side and that I didn't kind of wondered what it was like being like this when I was still his property. But at least, you know, being able to drink coffee really, really was nice. I miss that. Fucking honest coffee.
You can still get it, just not in the same way you had it before.
No, I've heard, but not yet ready to try on those kind of things. Still adapting.
I have to say, Keely, I'm somewhat impressed at you out there. You took your lumps like like a pro. Especially when I went for that pretty little eye of yours.
Hmm. Yeah, that was a nasty move.
It's how I fight. It's how that circle fights. Today they weren't using weapons. Next time they might.
Well, I'm actually a bit used to a baseball bat and a gun by now.
Oh, no, no. No
In my favor.
firearms. No firearms. There's no sport in that. No, it's usually hammers and wrenches and chains and anything that you can find around a garage.
Hmm.
Nothing with a bladed edge.
Oh, you'd be surprised to see how much I can do with stuff from a garage.
I'm surprised to see anything about you. You seemed so timid the first time we met. It was almost all I could do to keep from just coming outside or luring you away from Jacob's side. and then drinking you dry. It's quite the temptation.
You probably weren't the only one, but yeah, that changed. I wasn't really that much intimidated, but Jacob kind of ordered or my boss kind of ordered to be silent because it cost me my life. But yeah,
And now here you are in one of the
lifeless.
few sects that will offer you absolute freedom, provided you can pay the price.
Yeah, as soon as you're no longer a shovelhead. And now that at least someone actually said that I'm blooded in, I still don't know what the fuck that means and what I have to do to be something else than a shovelhead.
To be true Sabat, you have to kill another vampire, in most
Oh,
circles.
come on.
Or go through Raite, some sort of creation rite.
Of course, there had to be some stupid ritual involved. Look,
Well, it's about as
we blew up a
well.
fucking Elysium and it's never good enough for you guys.
Unfortunately, it comes down to your pack. I'm assuming that you're decided to run with the bastards.
I don't run with anyone.
Evaline will pause as she stops and then places a finger up against Kaylee's wounded eye. Tentatively, of course. Stay still. And I believe this is Dex and I believe it's Dex and Medicine. Yeah, difficulty I'm gonna say 8. But yes. Dex Medicine, difficulty 8. So that's 9 dice. I can't fix it. I'm not spending willpower, so if I can't fix it, I can't fix it. Oh yeah!
I think we can say that you fixed the eye.
Evelyn's finger will just sink into Kaylee's eye socket, right through the bone, and begin to work its magic as though the ends of her fingers have almost split into smaller muscle fibrous tendrils, in a manner of speaking. And they begin to patch together the eye, taking the optic nerve and attaching it back and undoing the severed portions of it, reconstituting the eye together until it's more or less reformed. And she very slowly removes her thumb until it's actually just touching the surface of the eye before she actually restores the lens. And when she pulls it away, it's likely bloodshot and red, but and somewhat swollen. But
Oh,
Kaylee will be able to see once again out of the other eye.
what the fuck did you do?
My trade, my dear. My trade.
Right. And Kaylee remembers her broken arm that Evaline had fixed. She's like, yeah, you have to explain that to me at some point. Now, I know some of the tricks, I don't know all of them. And I'm definitely not sure about yours.
Well, if you are your father's daughter, then I imagine that you have your own set of unique tricks.
That's true.
Probably a tad darker in a literal sense than mine. Though what I can do with my hands to construct flesh and bone is far more can be darker in other aspects.
Oh, wait. Yes, you can change your face as well, right?
I can do many things. Given time and blood, I can make you look far more masculine, like one of your friends over there with a beard.
I prefer not to.
Truly, a freak among men, fit only for Arnhem's wonderful circus. But you would have to anger me to quite a point for me to completely disfigure you.
Well, as I said, I would prefer not to. Although I'm short, I kind of like what I am.
Well, you can't truly appreciate things until you truly love yourself. Or so I've been told.
I've always been told that I'm overconfident, so yeah, I guess.
Tell me, my dear, you said you have no pack.
Nope.
I happen to be in the same boat as you in that regard.
I see.
And given that you've already proven yourself worthy of respect, even before I found out that you were no longer among the living, seems only fair that I should offer a hand in friendship.
Friendship is fine.
Of course, if we were to make it official, we would need a third, at the very least.
Well, first, a third for friendship.
I'm not talking about friendship in the traditional sense. Lone wolves get taken out by the groups that run together, sooner or later. And I
Well,
have no desire to join the bastards or the bandits. And what I hear of the 40K is not all that impressive.
I got several offers. Bastards. Prometheans.
Prometheans have a fair number of people, and they are an interesting lot. At least Arthur and Louis, I find somewhat agreeable. Louis more so.
Arthur is a fucking douchebag. I've never met someone more annoying and arrogant than he is. Seriously.
Really? You should go to New York sometime. I hear they're quite arrogant up there.
Uh, Jacob didn't allow me to go bad there, and I must say after Chicago I was kind of happy to see Zuster again. I guess I'm homebound. I like it here.
Me as well. The city is full of interesting things to do, and far more interesting people to see.
Hmm.
What do you say, my dear? If we both find the other packs somewhat disagreeable, all we need is find a third.
Hmm. I can think about it. By the way, what do you think of Kane?
Kane.
How do you what, how do you think? What do you think about the entire story?
I think that is just as credible as any other origin story of ours, or of any religion or species.
Well, at least you're refreshing when it comes to that. I mean, all I've
I
heard
am
is
not a member of the fanatical group of Sabbat. I do believe in Cain.
uh,
I do believe we should fight with him rather than against him.
I think it's
As
just bullshit story made up by people.
you know, it's interesting that you would say that, but I've seen many, many things that our kind can do. And there's something definitely more than biological, as I have taken apart so many Cainites and kindred in my time just to study, only to put them back together. I've come to the realization that it's not just science alone that makes us tick. It
No?
truly is something otherworldly in us.
You actually looked at the DNA samples and stuff? Did you actually try like taking a human, taking its DNA, then turning it and look at its DNA again?
I have not, but I have heard that others certainly have.
Hmm.
But there are those out there that control power that is, well, not insurmountable. Certainly is interesting. In a way, it's almost magic, if you believe in that sort of thing.
When I was still property, I I saw my boss getting pulled out of a kind of shadow portal, like video games kind of stuff.
As I said, there's something to us that science cannot explain.
Hmm.
And the rhetoric, while it is tiring at best, it certainly does have very good points. I've seen with my own eyes that as we get closer back down the ladder to our origin, we become stronger.
Hmm.
I've heard tales of those that can break the limits that's set forth by them that we all normally carry as they get even more potent in their blood.
Doesn't that simply have to do with age and experience?
Not necessarily. The canite condition seems to be focused on how close we are to our origin. That is what truly dictates our strength.
Hmm. So basically, what you're saying is the farther you're away from this origin, they name it Cain, the weaker you become. Like ink and water. The more water you add to it, the less dark the ink will be.
Yes,
Correct?
very astute, Kaylee.
Hmm. Never really thought of it that way. I always thought it had something to do with the gene pool, kind of like, I mean, when you're talking about fairy tales, the entire Kane thing could have been just as much true as the X-Men, the story of mutants. It could all be a freaking bunch of freaking mutants. Spider-Man, X-Men. Look.
Yes, I don't prescribe to such things, such notions. All I know is there's something that cannot be explained, and I search tirelessly to find it.
I've been searching for it, but I just don't know enough about the world. As I said, I'm more of a person that likes to build instead of study.
Then why don't you come with me, Kaylee? I have a rather interesting trade you could observe, perhaps learn by doing.
Hmm. I'm not gonna say no, but unfortunately, I do have something to return to this night.
Very well. There's an auto yard near on the south side of the river.
How far to the south?
Not very.
Okay.
It's an old auto yard abandoned some time ago, but it makes for a nice haven.
Hmm.
I will be waiting for you until the sun rises.
Oh well, I can always like if it's not gonna take the entire night. I mean, as I said, as long as I am back where I am supposed to be this before dawn, I mean, pretty sure that they'll be okay with it.
This would be more of a slumber party, let's say.
Hmm. In that case, I probably will have to skip this day, but if you don't mind, I can be around either the next or after. It's just that I made a promise. And usually I don't give shit about promises, but this person kind of, well, you know.
Sweet on someone, are you?
Oh, fuck no.
Why don't you tell me? What is it that you're doing tomorrow? Or this
Tomorrow.
I'm sorry, this evening.
Well, I'm supposed to get back to, as I said, a few things that I promised I would do. Building a security system, listening to my boss, as I promised. And once I tend to keep that promise.
Do what you must. My position won't change on things.
I'll look
Listen,
you up, okay? I mean, as I said, tomorrow night, any other night, but I kind of promised that at least once a week I would stay over for the day with the bastards.
well, you said that you would look me up, and I will hope that that is more than just pleasantries. Evelyn will stand up. What I found in this city, promises are usually just words and no meaning. Perhaps you'll prove me wrong. I won't be disappointed.
Don't ever believe anyone who makes a promise to you. But,
This,
well, I'm planning to return, let's just say that. I'm interested, and hey, you said something about the scrapyard. I'm fucking interested.
I'll be seeing you around, Kaylee. And
I
with
think
that,
you will.
she very gently places a kiss on her own fingers and just holds them out, standing a good bit away from Kaylee before turning around and placing her hands in her pockets and walking away as the sound of thunderous applause from the court not too far away can be heard as someone's head had just caved in.
Okay, she will stay on the bench for a few minutes longer, then kind of make her way back. She feels better now, but not completely well. She will look at the crowd for a moment and then decide to, fuck it. Leave the leave her friends. Just send them a text. Look, guys, I'm off. Not feeling very well. And before they have a chance to reply, maybe they didn't even read or hear the phone vibrate or make a sound. And she will sit down on Frankie, start up the engine, and drive back towards the fort. And we will end scene there. Thank you everyone for watching.